What's up, guys, and welcome to the WholesomeGamer Cast. This is episode 3, and I am your host, G. Today I have with me the actual person who was missing from episode 1. I had that episode, if you're with me, that day with Jalen Bell. And we had this one person who was missing and, kind of threw everything off. But he's here now. So, welcome, Mr. Damien Munoz.
Mr. Damien?
Mr. Damien.
How you guys doing? I was missing from the first episode. They kind of talked about me a lot on that episode. But I'm here today, and I'm making up for it, and I'm going to talk about some good gaming news we got going on.
Awesome. Thank you for joining me.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
So, today we're going to talk about a couple of topics. We have at least 3 main topics that we're going to talk about. Kind of going on the more artistic side, if you will, of video games, and also about a new craze in the video game industry and community. But before we do that, let's talk about a little bit of what we've been doing. So, how about you, Damien? What have you been doing? What have you been playing? What have you been up to?
Been working really a lot, watching a lot of movies. I work at the theater, so it's a little segue into stuff we're going to talk about later. But basically just knocking out my backlog in terms of video games. Our next game I got going is Lego Batman 3. Really excited to play through that. Love Lego Batman 2. Love Lego Marvel. Love all Lego games, really, for the most part. But if it's a property I'm a fan of, I'm even more excited to play it. But other than that, really, nothing much.
Awesome. Yeah, I've kind of been in the same situation, working a lot. But I actually got in a little bit of gaming over the past week or so. I started Ether 1, which actually has been on PC. It's kind of a exploration game, puzzler exploration, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, my cousin was actually starting that up. I guess it was released on PlayStation Plus, and he's really into it. He keeps suggesting it to me. I guess I'd play it eventually.
Yeah. So actually, so since it came out on PlayStation Plus for the PS4, I've been playing that a little bit. It's been out on PC for I think about a year or so. Okay. But now it's on the PS4, and it's part of the Instant Game Collection with PlayStation Plus. So if you have PlayStation Plus, I do suggest checking it out. It's pretty cool. I haven't finished it, but I'm working my way through it. Other than that, I have also been playing Project Cars. That just came out yesterday, actually, here in North America. Yesterday being Tuesday the 12th of May. But I haven't really gotten too much into that. Because
I was about to ask how that was, because I'm here. I haven't really heard too much about it.
Well, I mean, so far the feedback has been really positive. Like the reviews and other people who have been playing it seem to really like it. Personally, like I said, I didn't get that much time into it. I probably played it for about an hour or two. And it's a very in-depth game as far as car simulators go. So there's a steep learning curve, and I was kind of going on learning a lot of that during those 2 hours that I was spending with it. I'm going to be doing a review for it, so you'll definitely hear more about that once that happens. Other than that, I also started Disney Infinity 2.0, Marvel Superheroes, which
nice. For what system?
PS4. I actually just started that. I've never played any of those games, like the figure games. That's actually going to be one of the topics that we're talking about later. But the reason why I started this one is because I will be reviewing the Vita version of Disney Infinity 2.0, so I'm just getting myself familiar with it.
How does that work exactly on the Vita? They have like a pad?
Yep, it's basically the exact same game. They just ported it to the Vita. There's a starter pack. It has a figure. It has some of the other things that you need for the game. It has the base. The base is actually Bluetooth, so you'll be able to connect it to your Vita wirelessly.
That's cool.
It's rechargeable. You can take it on the go, so it's a very portable game. Great idea. I don't know how well it will do, but
it's on the Vita.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. So, but yeah, well, there's nothing really else. So let's get to the news.
Okay.
The news. Not too
much of
much.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not too much stuff that's been really happening over the past few weeks.
It's a slow build up. We got E3 coming up, so.
Yeah, I mean, originally I was supposed to record this podcast last week, so I wrote down a few of the pieces of news, and since then, nothing. It still really hasn't been much. But at least I got a few things. Starting with Yooka-Laylee, the Yooka-Laylee Kickstarter, which is Yooka-Laylee is a game from Platonic Games. That's the developer. They're an indie team made up of former Rare developers. These are the guys who worked on classic games such as the Donkey Kong Country games and the N64 hit Banjo-Kazooie.
Kazooie?
Yeah, Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie. So they're making a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, and that's what Yooka-Laylee is. So this Kickstarter went on the web in less than a day. It hits over $1 million US dollars in less than a day, and I think it's already knocking at 2 million right now. So
yeah, I figured as much. Banjo-Kazooie is like a really, really requested. The sequel to Banjo-Kazooie is a really requested sequel, and Rare never got the chance to do it. Microsoft, of course, owns Rare, and they got them doing their own games for them over there.
Right.
So it's like, I kind of figured a spiritual successor to the game would be really popular among the fan base. Yeah. Not to mention that you have people from the team who worked on it. So
right. So it's gonna. From the little video that they did show, it has that real classic platformer feel. So it looks good, and I think that's why a lot of people got behind it. They know that the devs who are going to be working on it, they have a lot of experience under their belt, bringing in great games, great characters like the Donkey Kong games and the Banjo-Kazooie games. So hopefully it does. It turns out well. Obviously, the Kickstarter was a huge success. It's hit all of its stretch goals. So it's definitely going to be something to look out for in the next year. I think it's coming out 2016 for all the systems. So that'll be pretty cool to check out.
Honestly, I never actually played Banjo-Kazooie. I did play the Donkey Kong Country games. I love those games, but Banjo-Kazooie never was really my thing. I mean, I never owned a Nintendo 64 either, so. But I'm still pretty excited to see it. This whole thing just reminds me of Mighty Number 9 all over again,
yeah,
but with a different franchise.
Yeah. That's basically what it is, kind of. The creators they no longer have control over that property, so they're doing their own thing. So, yep.
It's cool. It's a good way of appealing to the fans.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, moving on then. Still actually talking about kind of Rare devs and whatnot. Rare did announce, now this is Microsoft's Rare, previously the same guys that worked, the same company, all those people that originally were there are mostly gone. So anyway, Rare, the development studio, is planning on unveiling a new game at E3. A lot of people are saying it might actually be a new Banjo-Kazooie game because the way that's kind of being hyped up, which would be kind of ironic, that, now that Yooka-Laylee has been announced and there's a lot of hype behind Yooka-Laylee. Now, Rare might be unveiling a new Banjo-Kazooie at E3.
That'd be really, really funny. I'm not gonna put all my hope on that though, because knowing that Microsoft is still behind them for the most part, I don't think Microsoft would necessarily want something like that. Because what was the last one on Xbox 360? How did that do exactly?
Yeah, I'm not even sure. But I mean, yeah, mostly Rare has been working on Kinect stuff, and yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't think it's going to be Banjo-Kazooie. I'll be surprised if it is, and I'll actually be really interested to see how the two games compare, as far as the one coming out of Rare and the one coming out of Platonic Games, Yooka-Laylee versus Banjo-Kazooie. So if it does happen, that'll be something definitely to check out. But as far as keeping an eye on the way they both do, but I don't think it's going to be Banjo-Kazooie.
Same. I mean, I do think it's probably going to be something a lot bigger than a regular Kinect game.
Yeah.
Because if they're really hyped, they are really hyping it up as if it's some big AAA game. So
right.
I could definitely see them doing something a little bigger than Kinect, but not still something that'll really not something like Banjo-Kazooie, basically.
All right.
I would hope so. I mean, because again, I never played it, but for the people who did, I'm pretty sure as excited as they are for Yooka-Laylee, if a new Banjo-Kazooie gets announced, they're probably going to jump on that really quick.
Probably. We'll see. Maybe. I mean, there's like the thing is, it's going to be Xbox exclusive, obviously,
That is true.
If it comes out. So, at least with Yooka-Laylee, everybody has a chance of playing it. A new Banjo-Kazooie would have to be on Xbox or Windows platform, because Windows 10 is supposedly going to be able to play all these games. But that's another story for another day. Moving on with the news, PS4 lifetime sales have passed 22 million. So it's still chugging on. Number one new system as far as sales go of this new generation.
I'm really curious to see how those numbers continue to keep going. I mean, with Sony's this coming fall, the holiday season, it's looking pretty slow with releases at least. So I'm wondering if it'll still push those kind of numbers. I mean, you saw Microsoft took that crown during Black Friday last year. So
yeah, I mean, overall, I think I still think the PS4 is going to sell well.
Oh, of course, it's definitely going to be. It's always going to be a successful system. It surprised a lot of people in that matter, because I don't think anybody expected it to do as well as it did.
Right. It's kind of reclaiming its PS2 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely still chugging on strong, because it's the number one system worldwide as far as sold through sales. It's actually, I think the latest figure is like for every one Xbox One sold, there's 3 PS4s sold or something like that. So yeah, it's a pretty good gap. And then, I mean, obviously the Wii U, that's the PS4 has way past that, even though the Wii U was out a year earlier. So PS4 is definitely has some legs. As far as releases this year, we still have E3, still have quite a few months to go that new games can be announced, and that could help with the sales. Nice. So yeah.
We have E3 before even we have Tokyo Game Show in September.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that between now.
We still got plenty of time.
Yeah, Gamescom.
That's right, that too.
Paris Games Week, and a lot of different things. So, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, next thing on the news, Nintendo and Universal Parks have teamed up for a theme park attraction, which I'm pretty excited about. I know you said you're pretty excited about it too.
I'm stoked for that. That's the only thing I'm worried about is which Universal Studios is it? Is it the Florida one, or is it in Los Angeles?
From the press release, I mean they haven't specified anything exactly yet, but in the press release it actually named both the Universal the Orlando, the one in Florida.
Okay.
And actually, it didn't name anything. So basically, it just said Kyoto, Japan, which I assume is from the Nintendo side, and Orlando, Florida, which I assume is from the Universal Parks and Studios. But they usually do it in both. Whatever is in Florida, they'll have in California, and so on. But
it's not like Disney, where Disney has their rides in the Florida ones, and then they have the rides in the California one, where it's like almost 2 different parks.
Yeah, they do have some exclusives in different areas, but I mean, we don't know yet. We don't. I mean, they really haven't said anything. They basically have said that more details will be announced in the future. All they've really said right now is that Nintendo and Universal are going to bring Nintendo games to Universal theme parks, plural. So I assume it's going to be both.
That worries me too. Nintendo games, and that doesn't mean we're just going to get a Mario Kart in their arcade, right?
Well, no, I mean, actually, the wording. I'll even bring up the press release right now. So let me bring it.
Because I'm actually hoping for something along the lines of like Simpsons Land and like
it's probably
the Marvel Park.
Like that. It definitely is going to be like that because so the press release says this: Nintendo and Universal Parks and Resorts announced plans to bring the world of Nintendo to life at Universal theme parks.
Okay, yeah. That sounds sounds
right.
Incredible,
so,
actually.
They're going to be creating spectacular, dedicated experiences based on Nintendo's wildly popular games, characters, and worlds. So they even say it's going to be major attractions. So they're definitely going to put more things into it. Yeah, I think that's going to be cool. I've always actually video games, I've always said, it'll be awesome if they had theme parks based on video games. And
I always thought the same thing. I remember playing Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 when that came out, and I would always make parks based around video game characters.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever seen like the King of the Ka and Six Flags. I actually made 2 roller coasters similar to that, representing Sonic and Shadow, and they cross paths and they go up. It was just always something I thought would be a great idea. And seeing Nintendo actually take the first step forward and doing it is pretty awesome because they have such a wide cast of characters that are loved by pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
If you're a gamer, you pretty much at least know every Nintendo character.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be really cool to see that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be big.
Congo Rapids Donkey Kong ride.
Yeah, I think it's going to be huge. But they haven't released any details yet. They said they're still kind of in the early stages of planning. So once those details start rolling out, it'll be cool to see what they're actually planning for it.
Yeah, it actually moves pretty quickly. It seems like creating different elements of the park move pretty quickly. Because I remember when the Simpsons ride was announced and like the next year it was put out. I think it was, or the next 2 years. So I mean, once they start releasing the details, I wonder how close it is to actually coming about. Because I'm taking the first flight over there if that happens.
Yeah, it'll be cool. All right, cool. So last bit of news was actually a breaking piece of news. Breaking now. When you're listening to the podcast, it will be old news, but for Madden 2016, the Madden NFL 16 cover athlete has been chosen, and it is New York Giants wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. He is going to be the one who is gracing the cover of Madden 16 this year. Hopefully, he doesn't fall victim to the so-called Madden curse and gets injured, but yeah, he will definitely be on the cover and yada yada for you guys who love Madden, and for you guys who love sports, that's your cover athlete for Madden NFL 16. So that's basically the news. As we said, it's kind of been a slow few weeks leading up to E3. We'll definitely get a lot more news, but let's go into the main topics for discussion today. So we have 3 main topics that we're going to discuss. The first one is video games music. The second one is video games, movies, and TV shows. And the last one that we're going to be talking about are NFC figure games like the Amiibos, Disney Infinity, Skylanders, so on. So those will be 3 topics we're discussing today.
Pretty good topics. I'm excited. Yep. Everything I love. Toys, music, movies.
Yep. All right. So yeah, let's get right into it. Music, video games and music. Recently, there's kind of been an explosion with video games music as far as being not just a part of a game that you're playing, but something that you can take with you anywhere. A lot of video game soundtracks have been released over the years. Concerts are being made now, like there's the Distant Worlds Final Fantasy concert, the Video Games Live concert, now even a Pokemon concert, which I know that you said that you were interested in, right?
Yeah, I was funny. I didn't know about it, but it came across my Twitter feed actually as like part of those little advertisements. And in Madison Square Garden, upon doing research, it actually showed there's one coming to Jersey too. Really cheap too for the most part. And I love Pokemon. I still play Pokemon, and the music for Pokemon is just it's very iconic. It's very cool. I love playing the games and walking in the grass and hear that song. It's really cool to see that. And I'm seeing footage of the Zelda concert and what that was like. And the Final Fantasy one, and it's just like I can just imagine something like Pokemon being awesome to see performed live.
Yeah.
I'm really mad I missed the Final Fantasy one, especially because the music for those games are just incredible. Yeah. They always have been. And my friend went to it. She said it. She was just like, it was something else completely. It was a great experience to see it performed there in front of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've gone to about 3 of them so far. I went to my first video games concert was the Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses in 2012. I had a chance to check it out. I was actually doing a review. That was so awesome. It was an experience like no other. And then after that, I saw the Distant Worlds Final Fantasy concert. Again, amazing. I've always loved like the Square Enix music from like Nobuo Uematsu and Yoko Shimomura. So like the Final Fantasy games and Kingdom Hearts games, I absolutely adore those songs. I own a lot of these soundtracks. I own both soundtracks for Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2. I own Final Fantasy 8 OST, so on. Yeah, it's some great stuff on there.
Like discs, or actually like just like codes?
No, actual discs. They actually.
I didn't even know they have those. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, they have actual discs that you can purchase for these soundtracks.
The only soundtrack for that's the only disc soundtrack I have actually was Uncharted 3, which I got with the collector's edition of the strategy guide, and it has like all the songs from the Uncharted series, which is really cool too. But it's just I do have a lot of codes. I have the Elder Scrolls soundtrack actually too, Skyrim, which was another one of my favorite soundtracks. The music in that was incredible. And on the topic of the concerts, I'm actually was thinking during PlayStation's anniversary, someone put up online on YouTube a video of a group of people playing instruments along to various iconic PlayStation songs from the PlayStation games: Crash Bandicoot, Drake, The Last of Us. You know, a lot of and I thought at that moment like how cool it would be to see something like that performed live too. It would have. I mean, it's a little past time now because the anniversary, you know, their celebration has gone and passed for the most part. So I don't think we see it anytime soon. But I thought that would be pretty cool to see that too. You know, Nintendo's taking a step forward. Pokemon, Zelda, Mario. Well, Mario doesn't have a concert, but they did do that musical celebration and the video game awards they did, which is really cool too. And that's another place you see a lot happening too. At the video game awards last year, anyway, they had a lot of different performances on stage from video game performances. You know, between the one, I forgot the two guys who did that little Mario medley with the light thing. I don't know, it was cool.
Yeah, I actually missed it because I was on a plane to Vegas at the time when the awards were on
for the celebration, right?
Yeah, I went to PSX, so I missed the awards during that time. But
it was actually a pretty good show this year too.
Yeah, I heard it was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, for me, I do have both physical copies of like OSTs and also have downloadable download stuff. What I've been using actually recently, I kind of discovered Spotify a little more now that it was integrated with PlayStation and the PlayStation Music. I've been using it a little more than I have in the past, and I actually have a playlist that is video game music. And it has like a bunch of different OSTs mixed together. Yeah. It has like the London Philharmonic. They actually did they produced video game songs. They recorded a bunch of different songs from like games like Mass Effect, Assassin's Creed, Little Big Planet, Mario, Tetris, a whole bunch of different games, and they just kind of put them all onto one CD in an orchestral arrangement.
That was awesome.
Video Games Live also. Like I said, I went to that concert. I went to it here in Miami, and then I also went to it at the E3 celebration last year. They had like a big Video Games Live concert, so I went to that one too, and it was pretty awesome. But they also have CDs for Video Games Live, so I got those soundtracks, and they're also on Spotify. It's like a whole mix of stuff, so it's
you actually have to
cool.
share that playlist with me. I use Spotify a lot now too,
because
it's integrated with PlayStation, so
yeah.
I would definitely like to check that out.
Yeah, I'll definitely pass it along. If possible, I don't know if I can. I'm still exploring and getting used to Spotify, but if I can, I'll definitely link it in the article when this podcast is published, so you guys can hear it too. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm always listening to video games music. The main things that I love though are kind of like the music that goes along with JRPGs and stuff like that. For some reason, those songs just stand out a little more to me.
Yeah, the Persona 4 soundtrack is that's one that stands out.
Oh yeah,
comes up in my head right now as you say
definitely,
that.
Yeah,
I was just like, that soundtrack's amazing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's just something about it that they're just iconic, so songs that just stick with you. And I guess when you're playing the games and those songs are playing, they just kind of, get you so involved in the game that it just sticks with you personally. So like when you're playing music regularly, it's awesome to listen to music. I'm a music lover, but you're just listening to it really. Video games have you actively involved in the game, and the music playing at the same time kind of just adds a whole new layer of an experience. So I think all of that combined together with the music really helps to make video games music so much more appealing to gamers, because it's something that we carry with us. It's an experience that we actually had versus something that we just heard.
I agree with you completely on that. I think beyond just video games, I think it's something to do with score in general. Because even in movies, like some songs in movies really just, they stick with you too in terms of score.
Right.
You know, like I remember, like, you know, Jalen, who's not here with us at the moment, always brings out the song with from the Avengers Assemble scene. When you see them all together, you know, I think of The Dark Knight, the Joker, all the Joker scenes, that really eerie sound that song that always played. It's stuff that I carry with me, because I think when you see it visually and listening to it also, like you said, it sticks with you. And in video games even more so, because you're also controlling it. So it's something that you play over a long period of time, and it's like, I think that's composers really do a great job, especially with JRPGs, with creating a sound that resonates with what you're playing, with the world they create, and something that is just so either catchy or soothing that it sticks with you in the long run. It's just you can keep going back and listening to it.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Actually, what we are talking about is kind of something that I talked about with a producer of a lot of these concerts. He's actually a producer of the Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses tour and the Master Quest tour. If anybody ever played the Wii U game, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, and you got the 25th anniversary edition with the CD in there, the musical CD, he's the guy who produced the CD. His name is Jason Michael Paul, and I actually was able to interview him recently. And I recorded the interview so that I could share it with all you guys. It's pretty awesome stuff. So let's take a listen to it. What's up, guys? Today I'm joined by a special guest, Jason Michael Paul of Jason Michael Paul Productions. Jason is the producer of the Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses Master Quest concert, among other tours as well. But today we will be focusing on the Master Quest tour. Thank you for joining me, Jason.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, I know you are busy, so again, thank you for taking your time out of your schedule, but let's get right to it. Before we talk about the concert, I'd like to talk a little bit about you. So tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Jason Michael Paul, and I've been active in producing video game music concerts since 2004, when I produced the first ever stateside video game music concert with dear friends Music from Final Fantasy. And I've just been kind of at it ever since. You know, I've been doing this over a decade. It's gone by real fast, but I've been responsible for probably over 150 video game music concerts throughout the world, and take a lot of pride in also being able to and be fortunate enough to work with such luminaries in the industry, and especially with Nintendo now on the Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses. So it's been a dream come true.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I actually went to your first concert, your first concert, but the first one that came to Miami in 2012 for Legend of Zelda. But
nice.
yeah, I really enjoyed it. But still on the note of your profession, you've worked with some pretty big names like Luciano Pavarotti and the Three Tenors, right?
Yeah. So it was kind of, I just fell into it. You know, I worked directly for this Hungarian promoter who pretty much was an impresario, and he was responsible for bringing opera to the masses, and just truly a visionary and a pretty amazing man in his own right, you know. And so I was fortunate enough at a young age to be hired by him and worked for Mr. Luciano Pavarotti towards the end of his career. And then I was also, during that stint, I was also able to produce the Three Tenors concerts that were coinciding with the Luciano Pavarotti tour. So it was just very special, and something that I always cherish. And I've been able to apply what I learned with that to what I'm doing right now with this new genre, if you will, of video game music being performed. And similar to Mr. Tibor Rudis, my goal is always to bring video game music to the masses. So that's been my goal from day one, and I think I'm getting there. So
yeah, I think so too. But so with the fact that you were at least involved in producing concerts and whatnot. But what made you kind of go transition to be like, hey, I want to do concerts for video games music? Where did that come along, and why did you decide to do that?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I got to give credit where credit is due. I was very fortunate to work with very forward-thinking creatives and business types with Square, Kyoko Yamashita, and also Juno Isaki, who was the then president of Square North America. And, he was really the driving force. He really believed in the concept that I had pretty much pitched to them. And they thought it would be great promotion for not only the game, but also the music. And he was right, and we just kind of, invited some executives from Square to a Pavarotti concert that I was doing in Japan at the time, because it was a farewell tour and I was responsible for that. And, that was when it all just kind of, all the marination of just the ideas really came to fruition. And, the rest, as they say, is history.
Okay. So you started first with Square and that type, like, I guess the Final Fantasy music, I assume it was, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually, before that, I was working for PlayStation in more of a marketing and branded environment capacity, where I manage and produce branded environments, and also a lot of their E3 trade show booths. And I also project managed the first ever totally interactive store with PlayStation in San Francisco. I had a variety of projects that I was working with, and it was at that time that I was able to secure a relationship with Square, and handling similarly what I was doing for PlayStation, but as my own company.
Okay.
When I had left the company that I was working with, I was responsible for that account. So I kind of took Square with me, and that's when I launched my company. And so I was doing a lot of projects for them, such as like Kingdom Hearts launch and other projects. And then at the same time, I was producing Pavarotti concerts as an independent. So I was kind of had my hands in both industries, really.
Yeah.
Live entertainment, working with world-class artists, and then also working for world-class video game companies, that are doing, some of the biggest titles, So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, it sounds so. I guess you could say I'm a little biased. I really love the music from Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, Uematsu and Shimomura, their music. But kind of focusing back on Zelda, Koji Kondo's music, his pieces are absolutely memorable. So I can see why you'd want to, get the memorable collections out on tour from like Final Fantasy and whatnot. And I assume it's the same kind of thought process that you had going into Zelda. But what made you decide to go from like the Square Enix kind of music to, hey, I need to do a Zelda concert as well?
Well, I was presenting music from The Legend of Zelda with another concert tour that I created called Play a Video Game Symphony, where I was already fostering a relationship with Nintendo at the time, where I was presenting music from Mario series, as well as the Zelda series and also the Metroid series. So, I think we all kind of knew that, next to Final Fantasy, and this is just strictly speaking from a music perspective and a music standpoint, I think those are probably the biggest two franchises in the history of video game music. And that's arguably, the case. They probably go head to head, in terms of that.
Right.
You could throw probably Koichi Sugiyama in that mix too, from Dragon Quest fame, and some of the other ones. I can go on and on and on, but so yeah, it was kind of, I was already doing that, and then of course when the 25th anniversary rolled around with Nintendo, we were able to, that was when everything that we had been working on, or I had been working on since 2006, where I was actually launched a show with Mr. Kondo in attendance, and he actually performed at that concert on piano.
Oh wow!
So that was what, and that was the first time Mr. Kondo had ever done anything like that.
Yeah.
So it was just, I guess it was only natural that I'd be doing these concerts. I've been working in this industry and doing what I've been doing since 2004 with, all the biggest companies, and, so I guess it was just a matter of time before I was asked to do the 25th anniversary concerts, which, you know, that was great. And then we did the recording, the orchestral CD recording. You know, I had a great team that was able to work on these projects and put together some great things. You know, we're just building upon that and further expanding it as the game continues to grow and expand and span over 30 years now. So.
Okay. So you were actually involved in the collection, the 25th anniversary collection that was in the copies of Skyward Sword. That was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I produced that.
Okay.
My company produced that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that was amazing. That was like one of the highlights of my career, was being asked to produce an orchestral CD that would be released with Skyward Sword. You know, I mean, it shipped over 1 million units.
Wow.
So that was just amazing to have my brand and you know, and of course it's not, you know, it's Nintendo's.
Yeah.
But just the fact that I was able to produce that for them, and it was just a huge honor. You know, it was kind of a dream come true for me, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But it wasn't my first video game music CD that I produced and created. I had produced another one that I recorded in Prague at the Rudolfino with the Czech Philharmonic, and it was an assemblage of video game music from games such as Castlevania, World of Warcraft, the Elder Scrolls series, Sonic from the Sega catalog, Kingdom Hearts as well. There's a lot of great music that's part of that CD release, and then of course I did the More Friends music from Final Fantasy live CD, which was also released by Square Enix. So, in the Sony label. So, yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like you have a lot of work under your belt there too. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. So, like I said, when the first Symphony of the Goddesses came to Miami in 2012, I was there. I absolutely loved it. It was actually my first video game music concert. But with the Master Quest tour, for people who don't know too much about it, in your own words, how would you describe the Symphony of the Goddesses Master Quest tour, and what would you say is different in this version of the symphony from what we saw on the 25th anniversary and the Symphony of the Goddesses that we saw a few years ago?
Sure. Yeah, so it's obviously we've updated it to reflect current releases, as current as the Majora's Mask 3D remake, which was just released in February. So we have all new footage from that, as well as a brand new arrangement as part of our finale. You know, so we also have A Link Between Worlds. We have a beautiful arrangement that was done by Chris Chilton that is just spectacular, and I'm very proud of it. And it basically takes you from low to high roll, and it's just a wonderful arrangement. We've also brought back music from the 25th anniversary concerts that were in London, Tokyo, and LA for the first time as part of the Symphony of the Goddesses, so that's also pretty cool. We have an amazing boss battle medley that's part of the concert. You know, with the 30th anniversary coming up, you know, we also have some new ideas to take it to the next level with that as well. So, and then of course the visuals from all the movements have been updated. We've changed the video edits from the movements 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we also have an intermezzo that was not performed as part of, I believe, the Miami show, which is just a beautiful fairy fountain arrangement. But yeah, no, it's wonderful. Overture, we have interludes, and then we have the prelude, and then we have, of course, movement 1, movement 2, followed by an intermission, and then we have the intermezzo after to start the second half, and then it's followed by movement 3 and 4, and then we have our finale.
Awesome.
Also, one of the cool things that's unique from the show is we have some special messages from the original creators themselves, Mr. Miyamoto, as well as Mr. Aonuma and Mr. Kondo. So that's also something that's new for the show that I really enjoy, and it's something that's really relates with the fans very well to see the actual creators behind this wonderful franchise as part of the concert.
Wow. Yeah, that wasn't in the first tour at all, right? You didn't have them or anything. Yeah, okay.
No.
That's pretty awesome.
I wanted to go with, and then I had the most amazing conductor Like I pulled out of the stops with this one. I have this amazing, beautiful, wonderful woman who's just connects, and she's an educator, and she's just vibes with the orchestra so well, and she really brings out the best in them. And she's from a very fine pedigree of conductors, and she's just a wonderful maestra. She's everything, that anyone aspiring to want to be a conductor someday, especially a female conductor, in what has historically been a male-dominated role with conductors across the country and the world, for that matter. She's a wonderful inspiration. So
sounds great.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah, that sounds great. So basically, it's pretty much a new show. So somebody that like myself.
Yeah. So if anyone tells you that it's the same show, it's a brand new show. Quite frankly, it's not anything like. And also, I have a lot of pre-show video things that we didn't have before. It's much more branded. I have things that I'm coming out with that are exclusive and that are brand new. Like, for example, I have a songbook that's being published by Alfred Music Publishing, where it's going to be coming out any day now, and it's going to have the 4 movements, and it's going to be for solo piano, so people can actually start learning how to play it. Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I have all kinds of cool stuff coming your guys' way.
Yeah.
Anyone who's a Zelda fan can get excited about all the geeky stuff that we're having coming out, especially as it relates to music.
Sounds like you're pulling out all the stops. Do you see the tour continuing on from here? Like any long-term plans?
Yeah, of course. We're gonna be touring through 2017, and then beyond that, we don't know. We'll probably take a break, and then we'll hopefully get back on the road again. So.
Sounds good. Hopefully you'll come back to Miami.
Oh, well, we'll be there this week.
Yeah, you'll be there. I'll be there too, so definitely. On Sunday, the May 3rd, so yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. Yeehaw. Oh, everyone, I want everyone to come out. I mean, don't miss it. That's your job, is to be a mouthpiece, because everyone, I don't want to be getting no emails from Miami. I didn't know this was happening. Oh man, I just missed it. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Get your tickets.
I'll be sure to let them know. Yeah.
Turn in your suntan oil and head inside and come enjoy a symphony concert devoted to one of the history of video game music best franchises.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hey, I got to get going though. I have my daughter. She has a performance tonight from Hansel and Gretel, and she's Gretel, and I got to get going. So.
Okay, all right. So let me wrap it up then. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you doing this interview. I'll see you on Sunday then. I really look forward to the show then.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So there you have it. Welcome back to the podcast. Thanks again to Jason Michael Paul for taking the time out of his day for that interview. As you heard, it was actually cut short because he had to go with his daughter to a play. But I had a few questions left that I really wanted to ask him. I'll probably get that next time around. Unfortunately, something came up where I missed the concert this time around. Like I said, I saw it in 2012, but I missed the Master Quest tour this year for various reasons beyond my control. But hopefully I'll be able to check out the Master Quest tour because it sounds really awesome, especially what Jason Michael Paul was saying during the interview and what we've seen through press releases and whatnot. So, but anyway, thanks again to him. Thanks to Triple Point PR who set up the interview for us. And I really hope to be able to get back to Jason because I have a few more questions to ask him. But anyway, let's round it out here then. About the video game music. I know we can talk about video games music forever, but let's move on to the next topic. And it's like I said, it's along the same line of arts in kind of the art world, video games, movies and TV shows now we're going to talk about. So another form of media that video games has presented itself in. Recently, they're kind of coming back, I guess you could say. I know in like the early 90s, the 80s, there were quite a few, video games, movies, and TV shows, and yeah.
They didn't do so well.
Yeah. some of these things, we wish to forget, but
Super Mario Brothers.
they scar us for life. Yeah. But, a couple of things are coming up. So, there are upcoming films like the Sly Cooper movie, the Ratchet and Clank movie, which are based directly on video games. And then we have video games inspired movies like Pixels with Adam Sandler, and so on. Yeah. So let's talk about these a little bit. What do you think of some of the movies? Are you excited for any of the movies that are upcoming, and are there any that you're not excited for?
I'm excited for a few, actually. The Sly Cooper movie did look really promising. Of course, it's still far away from release, but right. I like some of the new designs that they did in the trailer. Some of them were a little questionable, but I'm pretty sure seeing them on screen over time, I'll eventually get used to it.
Right.
But the one that really, really caught my eye was the Ratchet and Clank movie, because the movie looks like the game, the movie sounds like the game, the movie is pretty much just putting the game in a film.
Right.
And I like that they're literally taking the first game story and bringing in some unique twists and different, I guess, story elements. We don't know too much about it, but I'm assuming with the new cast of characters that they announced today, with Sylvester Stallone, Paul Giamatti, Rosario Dawson was just announced as part of the cast. I'm assuming they're going to take their own liberties in terms of storytelling as well, which is really cool. The one thing that kind of got me confused with that was that they mentioned Nefarious, and Nefarious wasn't in the first game.
Right. So yeah, they're actually, like you said, it's kind of a reimagining of the first game, and which is why they're actually going to re-release, or not re-release, but they're remaking the original game, and that's supposed to kind of release at the same time with the movie, for the PS4. So it's based on the original game for the PS2, but they're making changes to it. So
okay,
yeah,
that's fine. I mean,
there'll be different elements that you didn't see in the first game for sure, and the new game that's coming out was supposed to go along a little more along the storyline that ties into the movie. So
it's a movie game based. It's a movie game based on a game. But it's a movie game based on a movie that's based on a game.
Right. It's like Inception. 5 levels in. Yeah.
In terms of what I'm not excited about, I guess I'm not excited about it, but I'm going to see it anyway. I don't have to pay for it. I work at the movie theater, so, that's part of the reason why. But Pixels, I saw the trailer for that, and Adam
Sandler movie.
Exactly. Adam Sandler hasn't made a good movie since what, Click?
Ooh, for me it's before that, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I enjoyed Click for the most part, but I mean, he's been on a steep decline, so I can't get excited for an Adam Sandler movie anymore. The only thing that kind of draws me in is, again, the video games aspect of it. I did enjoy the parts where I saw the video game characters on there, seeing Donkey Kong throwing the barrels down was cool.
Yeah.
The one moment I will say that I really enjoyed, I actually laughed at, was seeing the Pac-Man creator of the movie and actually get his hand bit by Pac-Man and then running off screen. I thought that was pretty cool and pretty funny, but the movie's probably not going to be littered with stuff like that, so it's just, I'll watch it and I'll take it for what it is, but it's not something that's really that exciting or worth getting excited about.
Right.
I mean, I guess I'll wait for another trailer if I really care to see another trailer, but
yeah, I guess I'm kind of the same way. That movie really didn't excite me, but I'll probably see it just because of the video games aspect, and knowing that it was based off of a short film on YouTube. From an indie filmmaker. He just made this short little. It was probably like 5 minutes long.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. It was it was like no dialogue in it at all. It was just really pixels taking over, coming on down to earth, which was really cool. I saw the film. It was actually a really cool thing too. And then of course they added Adam Sandler to it for whatever reason.
Yeah. So I'll see it, but yeah, that one I'm not so excited for. Ratchet and Clank, I'm definitely excited for. A huge Ratchet and Clank fan. So I'm excited for that. Which actually, right before we started this podcast, there's an update on that. Originally, it was supposed to come out this year, 2015, but boo-hoo.
It's delayed.
It's delayed. Boo. Delayed to April 29th, 2016. So we have an official release date, but we do have to wait a whole another year before we see it.
Honestly, I'm disappointed about the news in general, but I'm really more disappointed in the game because I just really want to play another Ratchet and Clank game again.
Yeah. Yeah, because the game is supposed to be coming out in spring 2016. So, again, delayed, but we don't know exactly what date that game will come out. I mean, they say that, they're trying to make it even better, adding more polish to it and all this other stuff, and making the graphics better, the gameplay better. So hopefully it turns out to be a really great game. Thankfully, it is Insomniac that is working on it, and it's not being outsourced to some other company just because it's based off of the movie. It's actually Insomniac that's working on the game, so I'm sure it'll be great. Because most of the Ratchet and Clank games have been really good, as long as they didn't go off and try something too different, like the what was it, All for One and
Full Frontal Assault. I think
Full
it was.
Frontal Assault, yeah.
The last one was really good though.
Into the Nexus, yeah, that was good. I liked that one. I really liked it. It was short, but I still loved it. I actually platinumed it, so it was
same.
Good.
Do you think we'll see another trailer for the movie at E3?
I don't know. I think we'll see something for it at E3. I don't know if we'll see a movie trailer. We might see a game trailer because
they were developing that already.
Yeah, they did say that more news is supposed to come out for the game soon. So we'll see.
That should be exciting.
Yeah,
it should be really exciting, actually.
Yeah,
I wonder if the new movie cast will be in the game too.
Actually, so what they're doing, well, as far as the, I guess like Paul Giamatti and Sylvester Stallone, I don't know if they'll be in it, but what I'm actually really happy about is that the original voice cast for the Ratchet and Clank games, they will be reprising their roles in the movie itself. So
now, does that mean that Drek's original voice actor is going to come back too?
Say that again.
Drek's voice actor. Cause I remember Drek from another movie. I think it was Lilo and Stitch. He played Cobra Bubbles. Mm-hmm. And I heard the voice in the game and I recognized it immediately. I wonder if he's going to come back for the role in the movie too.
I don't know. The ones that they've only they've confirmed so far is James Arnold Taylor for Ratchet's voice, David Kaye as Clank, and Armin Shimmerman as Nefarious, Jim Ward as Captain Quark. So those, I mean, like the main characters. Those voice actors will be reprising.
Those are the most important for the most part anyway, so.
Exactly. So they're going to be doing both the movie and the game. So I'm glad about that. I'm really glad, because that was kind of one of the worries, when I think the first trailers were revealed, I don't know if it was Ratchet and Clank or the Sly movie. It actually might have been the Sly movie.
I think it was the Sly. Some of the voice actors in that sound at all
different, yeah. But hopefully they change that too.
I mean, they can change Carmelita Fox's actors because she's different in every game for the most part.
But at least for Sly's voice.
Keep that one. Sly's voice is too iconic. I don't know. It'd be weird to hear someone else do Sly.
Yeah. So I mean,
even Murray.
Yeah. Yeah. Kevin Miller is the one who usually does the Sly voices. So I don't think it was him in the trailer. I think it was somebody else. But it'll be cool if they bring him back for the actual movie.
I have a feeling we won't hear too much about that for a while, though.
Yeah,
if Ratchet and Clank got to this is probably going to get pushed back, too.
Yeah, because I think Sly was originally supposed to come out in 2016. Ratchet and Clank was supposed to be in 2015. Sly was supposed to be 2016. But now that Ratchet and Clank is 2016, Sly will probably be 2017. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And wasn't it the same Blue Sky doing those two, the both of them?
Yeah, I believe so.
In terms of animation, anyway?
The same studio. Yeah, they're supposed to be working on them. So, we'll see. Any other movies, as far as gaming movies that maybe they haven't been announced that you want to see a movie for?
One thing I was excited about that they announced was actually not true was the Legend of Zelda Netflix series.
Oh, yeah.
But I was really excited because the way they explained it seemed really cool. Was a whole Game of Thrones for families,
right?
With the iconic Zelda character. I thought that would be pretty cool, but
yeah,
it was noted as false.
It was a
lie.
Yeah, it was
kind of upsetting.
Lie. Yeah,
but other than that, I did hear about this new Sonic movie coming out, live action CGI.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that? I forgot when it was announced, but I remember reading about it. It's a hybrid CGI live action, which
I may have heard something about it, but
can't imagine being too good.
Yeah.
Because usually when they mix live action and CGI, it just never turns out well. Things that come to mind is the Smurfs, Alvin and the Chipmunks movies. It's just
yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be too weird. Though I did like the fan film they did. Someone did on YouTube. It was pretty cool. They actually brought back Jaleel White as Sonic's voice too.
I think one actually, I don't know if it was that I heard, but I did hear something else about the Pokemon movie that Sony wants to make. So,
oh yeah, I remember reading about that.
You know, with the whole Sony hack, Sony Entertainment, everything was leaked. But so one of the most recent things that was leaked was information about continuing talks between Nintendo and Sony, where Sony wanted to make a live action hybrid film based on the Pokemon series. I don't know how that would work, but
I think I would watch that one. I think I'd be more excited for that one than Sonic.
I don't know.
That one is pretty. They can make a live action cast for that, and then the Pokemon BCGI would be fine. But you know, I mean, I guess same thing could be done for Sonic. But Pokemon is just. And again, look at other Japanese cartoons made into American movies. It never worked out well either.
Exactly. So that's kind of like, and the thing is, again, it's Sony. Sony, just for comparison's sake, they're the ones who did Smurfs and. Yeah.
Even though I will say that they're rebooting the Smurfs and it's fully animated now. Apparently, it's CGI still, but It's going to be all animated, no live action characters.
That's fine.
So that could be cool. But I think Pokemon live action hybrid would be kind of weird. But I think I'd still want to see it. Yeah. The only thing is, how many of them would they include? There's so many Pokemon now.
Right. I mean, I guess it could work. Actually, one of the things it is also a game. I guess, yeah, it started out as a game first, and then it was turned into an anime. It's Digimon. I always thought that Digimon would work better in live action than Pokemon because at least the monsters in Digimon are a little more like rough and tough, and they're based off of a lot of them are based off of actual creatures, so it's a little easier for them to transition into reality. Or for Pokemon, a lot of them are just kind of cutesy and bubbly and colorful, funny. And
you were always a Digimon kid, weren't you?
But yeah, so nah, I think
Pikachu would look really weird live in like a CGI. Yeah, it would look so weird.
That's the thing, exactly. It would kind of be a little weird seeing that. But on the other hand, if you look at like Greymon for Digimon, that is basically a dinosaur. So a dinosaur that looks awesome.
I've never seen the anime. I've seen the movie, the Digimon movie, and I used to have a lot of the toys, and I played the Digimon World video games on a PlayStation.
Right.
I don't remember too much about it though. I was so young back when I did that. I still play Pokemon, so I was like, I keep up with that. I stopped keeping up with Digimon.
Well, hopefully Digimon makes this comeback. They actually released some games in Japan, but they haven't been localized here in the U.S. except for this one stupid fighting game that nobody asked for. Everybody's been asking for like the Digimon RPGs that have been released in Japan, but what do we get from Bandai? We get what was it, like Digimon All Stars Rumble?
Oh yeah, the
or
fighting
like
game.
That.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was why? It looked so terrible. It was so terrible. Anyway, what about TV shows? I think personally that I like what Sony's doing with like the Sly Cooper and Ratchet and Clank movies, but I think TV shows probably would have been a better thing for them to do.
I think especially with Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Actually, even with both of them, I think Sly Cooper would have been awesome in TV show.
Yeah,
every episode's a new heist type thing.
Exactly. I think they would have been great for TV shows, and they would have like helped to make the series more popular with today's the new generations of kids. Because I mean, Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, that's from 2 generations ago, the PlayStation 2 era. So people who grew up with those games are more the people who are playing it now. So it would be cool to get like a new generation, and I think that's what they're trying to do with the movies. But I think the TV shows probably would have been something that worked out a little bit better in that respect. But who knows? They might even do TV shows after the movies.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies that started out. There's a lot of TV shows that started out as movies. Some
Right.
The Jimmy Neutron movie spawned a whole TV series that did great. You know.
Right. So I mean that could always happen, but we'll see. I've always wanted to see kind of like some of those cool games. Like
it would have been really cool to see that. I think Sly Cooper would have been really awesome, even if it was just a 2D animation. It would have been really cool to see that.
Yeah, actually, they for the last Sly Cooper game, Thieves in Time, they did like these short animated
cutscenes.
Well, it wasn't just the cutscenes. Yeah, they had that in the game, but on YouTube, PlayStation released a bunch of short animations, or basically episodes that kind of led into the game. But it was all animated. It was cool, and like everybody, like if you look at the comments online, everybody's like, "Why don't you just make this into a full-fledged cartoon?" Because I mean, it was great. And
I didn't see that. I have to check it out.
It's pretty cool. You should check it out. And I mean, hopefully they do something like that, because there's fan demand for it, and that could open up a whole new market for them, as far as like figures, games, a bunch of stuff that they do. So, but anyway, there's a couple of other games that I'd like to see made into TV shows and movies, but let's move on to the next topic, though.
All right.
So that we don't have everybody listening for too long.
Yeah, I heard about your Kingdom Hearts session with Jalen.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the last topic, actually, which is NFC figure games. Basically, these are the games that use all these little collectible figures. Amiibos, Disney Infinity, Skylanders, the newly announced Lego Dimensions. For those of you who are not familiar with them, which I don't know who wouldn't be, but
it's
at least
a little too popular for that now.
Basically, these are figures. Their functions vary from franchise to franchise and game to game, but basically you use the figures to put on some sort of base or have some sort of connectivity with your console or your computer or your handheld or whatever. And they allow you to play as that character in the game, or they allow you to get content from that figure in the game. It's kind of a physical DLC, if you will. Recently, actually, I think it was last week, Disney Infinity announced Disney Infinity 3.0 with the Star Wars. Now they're bringing all the Star Wars figures out.
Oh man,
that's a whole
it's ridiculous.
I think a lot of people are gonna buy it because it's Star Wars. That's, people love Star Wars.
Yep.
But how do you feel in general about these figures and whatnot? Are you for them, against them? Care about them?
I think it's more so like I'm okay with it. I don't mind it. I don't really care either. But it doesn't really bother me so much. The thing that, since it varies from franchise to franchise, something like Skylanders I really don't care about, because I don't care about that series. Something like, what was the other one you were mentioning? Amiibo, I don't care about because I don't like the way they function. Disney Infinity, on the other hand, I kind of like the idea of it, bringing all these different characters. It's a really, really popular cast, a lot of popular characters in the Disney movies, the Marvel movies, the Marvel comics, the Star Wars movies, and seeing them all come together like that is kind of cool, but it's not something I would necessarily buy.
Right.
Because I just don't care so much to play with the toys on the base thing in the game. I am a collector, so I have a wide collection of Funko Pop figures. I have a lot of different statues and stuff, but I can't see myself selling out so much money for a figure if I'm not going to actually use it.
Right.
The one that does kind of get me a little excited, though, is Lego Dimensions.
Why is that?
Because Lego has a lot of different licenses.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine, I'm just trying to sit and picture. First of all, if they bring in Marvel they already confirmed DC for Lego Dimensions. So if they bring in Marvel, it's in day one buy. That's hands down, because that's finally the moment where you could actually bring the
Marvel
DC and Marvel characters.
DC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like at that point, it's like I'm gonna buy every Marvel figure, every DC figure, and buy the base, because that is incredible.
I think everybody will buy it if that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that's the thing that really gets me excited. The potential for that. Then I see the Back to the Future. And knowing they have Jurassic Park would be a really cool crossover idea too there.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of stuff is kind of cool. Plus, I think it's a cool idea. It just depends on the company using it and how they're using it. I don't like Amiibo for the way that they're used. It's not like you're actually playing with the figure. The figure is an AI.
Mm-hmm.
You're essentially purchasing an AI character, and it's like I just can't see myself getting behind something like that. Sure, the figures look cool, but at least in terms of Smash Brothers, I don't know how the other games work, but
Yeah.
that's a little weird for me. That's fishy, and they're really expensive, and they're hard to find.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think for me personally, I've never really, I've always kind of been against the business models, just because to start with, I'm not a big supporter on paid DLC. I never liked the idea of paid DLC, and especially when content is already on the disc and it's locked out for you to pay for that DLC. And that's basically what a lot of these figures are.
Yeah.
Like the Disney Infinity Skylanders, you get a disc, and it has all the content already on the disc. But for you to use that content, you have to go out and spend $10, $14 on these figures to just use that content on the disc. And this can run you up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars if you want to unlock all that content in the game. So I've always kind of been, I'm not gonna hate on anybody for playing the games or anything. And like I said, I actually started playing the games because I am going to be reviewing the Disney Infinity Vita version. So like the games themselves might be pretty good, but it's just a business model that I'm not I'm not a fan of. It's great business for the companies. They're making a killing off of these, especially Nintendo and Nintendo Skylanders and all of them. Skylanders kind of started it off. So Activision, they've been making mad money off of that.
It would be Activision to start something like that off.
And then Disney came in with Disney Infinity, and then we have the Amiibos that are taking over this huge Amiibo craze.
Amiibo is ridiculous. That's the thing that I can't understand that at all. But
yeah, there's a huge craze for that right now. I mean, people are like selling these figures for like $80 plus on eBay and whatnot. It's kind of crazy, but for me, I don't see myself spending that money. Even
if there was the Marvel DC crossover on Lego?
Yeah, even for that, I probably.
Oh man.
So the thing is, I'm still waiting to hear the full details on how the Lego Dimensions figures work, because, like I said, one of the things that makes it so that I don't really like it is because you are buying a disc with all the content already there, and then you're buying figures separately to unlock that content. And it's kind of like a ripoff to me. So if Lego Dimensions does that, then yeah, I probably won't get it. But if they're doing their game some sort of different way, because actually the Amiibos, it's different.
Yeah.
You have the figures. I mean, it's not like you're unlocking some new content on there. It's basically figures that you can take from different games, completely different games. You can level up that figure and, use it in different ways. Yeah, it is AI. I'm still, for me, it's kind of weird. I personally wouldn't use it, but at least the way that the Amiibo's business model is set up, it's
a little more fair.
Right. It's not as, grimy as Disney Infinity's Skylanders. And
I actually remember playing Skylanders once. It wasn't my copy, and we got to a certain point in the game, and it actually played like a little commercial for one of the figures that you needed to advance that level. I remember walking out of that like, it's and you look at the audience that the games are made for. It's kids.
Yeah.
So kids see something like that,
and they want it.
Exactly. The first thing they're doing is running to their parents. Mom, I got to go get the Skylanders figure.
Right.
And the same thing goes for something like Disney Infinity, because the kids see those Disney characters and they're like, I want it. The kids see the Avengers, the movie Avengers, and they're like,
yeah,
Iron Man could be in the game. I want Iron Man. The only one that might be different is Star Wars, because that's not so much. I mean, it is a family friendly audience, but it's still very, very like a lot of older people
like it. Yeah,
like it more. So it's like that's gonna be a little different. I mean, it'll still probably sell like hotcakes, but
yeah. I mean, I think overall, it's just kind of a dirty practice as far as the business model. But it's not that much different. It's actually better than DLC in my opinion, because with DLC you're just downloading something to your system, or you're not even downloading anything. You're just buying an unlock code to unlock content that's already there. which is really messed up.
I don't like that. And I don't like microtransactions. Microtransactions bother me.
That's basically what I feel like these figures are. But at least with these figures, you're getting a physical item. So that, if you're a collector, you can put these on display somewhere. I mean, most of these are pretty good quality figures that are made. So at least with that, at least with that, they're you have that positive going for these figures. But I'm not a fan of paid DLC overall. I won't say I'm completely against it. There are some developers out there that truly put in a lot of hard work on some content, and it's really expansive content. And it's not like they're saying a year before the game comes out, we're going to have this DLC. No, it's something that they, maybe closer to the game's release, or they're starting to think, okay, what if we can't integrate this into the game right now? Can we, bring it in later? So a lot of companies, what they'll do is still bring it in later, and they'll give it to you for free. And then there's others that will bring it in later, but they're going to expand on it so much that it's like a whole nother game that you're playing. And yeah, they'll make you pay $15 for it, but at least that's kind of worth it. But I'm not down with these guys who are like, months before the game is releasing, they're like, oh, check it out, we already have a season pass, and you're going to get all this stuff with a season pass, and you're going to pay us $40 so you can get the season pass.
I have a feeling you have the exact same thing in mind as I do right now, is the Arkham Knight DLC season pass.
There's
the Batman.
Right.
It's $40. Mm-hmm. They won't tell us what's in the pack, and the game's not even out yet.
Right.
And they expect us to pay that already. That's really ridiculous to me. It's just, I'm a huge Batman fan, and I can't even support that.
Right. There's a lot of people that are not happy about that. But the thing is, as many as there are, as vocal as I'm being right now, as vocal as people have been on the web, people are still going to buy it. Mm-hmm. And that's why DLC has come so far as it has right now. That's why these figures have come so far as they have right now, because people buy them. The vast majority of gamers are buying this, and it'll continue to happen until people stop. And people won't stop, so it'll continue to happen.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think eventually the craze might eventually. I don't think it's a fad so much. Like, I don't think it's going to just come and go. Mm-hmm. But I mean, over time, I can see it definitely declining. Something.
Well, for figures,
nothing stayed. Yeah, at least for figures. I don't know about DLC. DLC is going to stay that. I think it's going to stay that way for a while.
Yeah.
But the figures, I think, is going to come and go, and not so soon, not so fast, but eventually it'll see its moment where it's just because the kids that are playing now are going to get older.
Yeah.
And they're not going to keep doing it. Then something else will come along the line, of course.
Right. It's kind of like, I guess, well, there's different crazes, I guess, in games over the years. It's kind of a new, what do you want to call it? Not so much a feature, kind of just like a new gimmick, kind of like motion like controls and music games.
Yep. Even though it's funny because the music games are kind of coming back now, and I wonder. I'm curious to see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pick up Rock Band for sure. So
I'm thinking about picking both of them up. The Guitar Hero one kind of throws me off because it looks a little weird. It doesn't look so much like it changed it drastically.
Right. They're changing. I mean, that's a good thing that they're changing it because we don't want the exact same games that we played years ago. But I'm probably going to pick up the Rock Band one, most likely because, my friends and I, we like to get together and, have a band. And I think
it's cool. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, with the new stuff that, these new consoles have, with the, like the social integrations and, now a lot of people have these cameras and the Twitch streaming and Ustream. I think it'll be pretty cool to see how that integrates with these new games. So that, we have like kind of these, gamer rock stars, something like that, rock bands or something. Yeah, it'll be cool.
Yeah, actually, cool. No, I'm not even thinking about that because Guitar Hero's game apparently doesn't have that much of a social aspect to it as Rock Band always does.
Right.
So that's going to be really cool to see with the new integration on these systems. Actually, I didn't even think of that for the most part.
Yeah, it'll be pretty cool to see what they do with it, but we'll have to wait and see. They shown actually, even though Rock Band was announced before Guitar Hero, they showed more about Guitar Hero than we've seen about Rock Band.
That's because the gameplay is so really simple. It's just live action footage caught on camera. It's like
people were
that's the thing that's thrown me off. It's just like, okay, so now it's going the route of like, Dance Dance Revolution, and like, even though that had an animation in front of it, but the music video was in the background type thing.
Yeah.
And what's the other game that had like music videos playing in the background, like
SingStar and stuff like
that? Stuff like that. It's just like I can't really. That's never was my thing. I like seeing the whole virtual crowd, virtual band thing, like Rock Band did and like Guitar Hero used to do. You know, but that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, I guess closer to E3, we'll see more about that. But
I think we're gonna get a Rock Band gameplay reveal actually this coming week.
Yeah. How did we get into Rock Band?
I don't even know. Oh, because we were talking about all the gimmicks in games.
Oh, okay.
Like branching off the whole toy thing, because the toy is it's like a big gimmick right now.
Right. Yeah, so
I will say though, the day that Funko announces they're going to do a video game and they're going to use Funko figures, I might have to cave in. I might have to cave because I love Funko figures. I have way too many to count. My closet looks like a Funko closet. It's ridiculous. I love them.
You're gonna need a whole room for it. So.
And that's the thing with Lego too, is I like Lego figures. That's the next step I'm trying to collect. And it's like, okay, so now they're doing a video game with Lego figures.
I actually think Lego Dimensions is gonna be a surprise hit. Like, it's gonna be popular. I think people know it's gonna be popular, but I think it's gonna exceed that expectation just because it is Legos, and a lot of people love Legos. So even if they're not gamers. They might buy it just to collect Legos. There are tons of people out there who just collect Legos. And I'm talking adults. Adults who...
I mean, if you look at the movie, that's what the whole thing was a spoiler alert for those who didn't see the movie. The whole point of the movie is an adult who collects Legos, and it's like his son wants to play them. It's like, I could see something like that happening. Even if they don't play the game, they'll probably play it, but... specifically to collect the figures too.
Yeah.
They probably just want to collect them all, even though they're not. The one big question I have about the Lego game is: are they buildable or do they come pre-built?
Yeah, that is a good question, and I don't think they've answered that yet. But
because I would love to actually build it. That'd be kind of cool.
They have kind of, you know how like the Disney Infinity has these play sets where you get like a couple of figures and whatnot in them.
Yeah.
I've seen something like that with the Lego Dimensions packs. So, but it almost looks like it is a regular Lego set. So, I'm thinking that you will be able to put stuff together.
I think that would actually be. I think that might even make the purchase more worth it, because you're getting, not only are you getting a physical item, but you're getting a physical item that you can then play with outside of the game.
Right. So that would be cool. And I think a lot of people are going to go for it, kids and adults. So I think Lego Dimensions will exceed the expectations. I'm being cautious about it again, since I don't know how their business model is going to be set up as far as content and how that content is accessed or where it is. But we'll see. I know they have a lot of properties: Portal, Simpsons, Star Wars.
Portal too.
Back to the Future.
Wow.
Yeah, everything. Like there's a lot of things that are going to be in that game. So
Portal though, like a Portal. Wow, that's gonna be interesting.
yeah, exactly.
Even Minecraft they have.
Yeah, and the DC games, especially
Marvel.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I mean, Marvel just started, so I mean, but you know,
that's actually one thing where a lot of like the Lego games, Lego Batman and Lego Marvel, they kind of teased at the end. You see a silhouette. And it looks like Batman. It looks like Batman in the Marvel game, and in the Batman game, it looks like the Avengers. But of course, when they reveal it, it's not really. But I think they're still like trying to tease something.
I think, with the whole idea of it, I would hope. There's one thing that throws me off about it, is that because Disney, of course, owns Marvel, so they have their own figure line. I'm not too sure if they would let Legos do something like that with their own figure kind of game.
Well, I mean, the thing is that they actually have Marvel Legos, so I mean, we'll see. There's a new Lego game, Lego Avengers, coming out this year,
which I'm excited for too, because movies is just, and you're gonna make them. It's basically a movie game based on two great movies, but a developer that always makes pretty much good games.
It's kind of sad that the best Marvel games that we've gotten in recent years are the Lego Marvel games.
Yeah. But also the thing with the Dimensions, I would hope they do is like, because I think it's Disney Infinity, or where the figures, the playsets also basically give add story, like a story DLC quote unquote thing to it.
Yeah.
So it's like a story mode that you play with these figures.
Right.
I would hope that if they do a pack versus Marvel DC, it's like an actual, you know, Marvel DC crossover pack where you actually play story levels based on that.
Yeah, I think that's...
And not just like they're putting the figures in the game and you play their world.
A little bit too much.
No. See, that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, that would be awesome, but I think that's wishing for a little too much, honestly.
I mean, I'd probably still get it if they're both in there, but if they did that, it's like...
Yeah. Well, you see, actually, because it could happen. Because remember, like, with, whatchamacallit, Little Big Planet, you do have the DC packs and the Marvel packs.
That's true.
So, and you have all the costumes from DC, you have all the costumes from Marvel. So, and, I mean, you could technically make your own Marvel versus DC levels in Little Big Planet. So, it could happen. It could happen. We'll see.
It'd be so cool to see that.
It will.
And I wonder if there's also going to be voice acting, too.
Yeah, there will be.
Okay.
They haven't announced everything, but, yeah.
Will Arnett is Batman, please.
I think he is, actually, so
That's cool. Yeah, because I know he's in the game already. They already confirmed that.
Yeah. That'll be cool, though. Yeah. So, anything else you have to say about the figures and games?
No, not really. If it's your thing, go for it. It's not necessarily mine, but I definitely see the appeal to a lot of people. You know.
Yeah.
I think it's just like you say. It's a business practice that is really kind of weird, especially when certain companies how they do it.
Right. Yeah, that's the same thing with me. I'm not gonna fight you if you get it. Play whatever you like to play. That's what games are out there for you to enjoy what you're playing. But for me personally, I'm not gonna spend my own hard-earned money on it.
Yeah.
But for those of you that are, more power to you. But yeah, so I guess that's it on that topic. And actually, that'll be it for the whole podcast. I think we made pretty good time. Pretty decent time. I know right now the Arrow season finale is starting, or it's like...
It's actually already started.
Yeah,
it's like 30 minutes in.
Yeah, it's a few minutes in, so we'll get to that. But do you have any shout-outs that you want to make before we close this out?
Yeah, Jalen, why aren't you here?
Yeah.
He doesn't. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know about this thing going on right now, so that's fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know he was at work, so he's slaving hard until like 6 a.m. in the morning. So
yeah, he's crazy for that. I don't know what he's thinking, but you gotta get that money. Gotta get the money.
Got to do what you got to do.
Exactly.
All right.
Other than that, nobody. No.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me on the show. I want to thank again Jason Michael Paul for the interview, and Triple Point PR for setting up the interview. And yeah, I don't really have any shout outs except to myself. Shout out to me for creating this podcast, and shout out to you guys for listening. But yeah, so I guess that's it for now. We're going to wrap up the show. Thank you guys for joining us. Just
hopefully
a little.
Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say
hopefully I'll be on the next episode.
Yeah, actually, talking about the next episode, we're going to kind of just a little teaser for that. It's going to be the E3 pre-show. So we're going to talk about a little bit of the E3 news that has already come out before the conference and our expectations. So make sure to check that out. It'll be coming out in the next few weeks, right before E3. So thanks again, Damien, for joining me. Thank you guys for listening, and take it easy.